All right, guys, so I have the old fuse box out of the car. This is the one that goes to the switch panel. I've already prepped the connector end. So what we have here is we have a ground, pretty standard O-ring connector. I'm probably gonna replace that because I didn't really like it. Power side, terminal, and then this is a secondary power for like powering the system on. And then inside this box is 6 fuses and 6 relays. And this has been a very beneficial setup. It worked really well, but because I cut all the old tags that had the numbers, I put a diagram on the cap so that I can pay attention and make sure I reconnect everything to where it's supposed to go. Because, you know, we all know me, and I'll screw it up if I don't. But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna add a 6-way super seal connector to the end of this. So then this, if I change where these go, because like the colors don't matter until they go somewhere, right? So this is the power out, okay? These little terminal ends. This is what sends the power to what you're trying to power. This connector here is what connects to the switch panel up on the ceiling. And this is plenty long enough to reach wherever. The switch panel is currently mounted in the middle of where my sunroof control used to be. And then it runs down and tucked behind the roll cage, and it goes almost to where this is gonna be. So no problem with connections, but this just had some butt connectors that came on it from the original setup. So we're gonna switch over to the Super Seal. A, because it'll be nicer. B, because if at any point I decide I wanna change this out, or change a pin, or change something, I can remake the whole wire. I just gotta put a new pin terminal on it and go about our business. This will clean things up quite a bit. I'm working really hard on getting rid of all of the butt connectors in the car and switching over to proper connectors.
Drop that. Hey, yeah.
All right, so I've got 5 out of 6 of the wires connected. I'm gonna talk you through this last one so that you can see. So now this connector, so it has this little pin, but it also has this little cap. The cap goes over the wire. Make sure that it goes on. It's like the nut on a brake line where you're gonna forget it and you're gonna be mad. That's what these little things are. You actually saw me, I forgot one. And I did not the right way to do it, but I put a new one, I put it on so it seals. All right, so now the yellow is to the end of my blue wire on the insulation. There's 2 sets of prongs, okay? The back prongs are gonna go on the yellow. The middle prongs are gonna go on the wire. So feed it through. And then I have these fancy crimpers. You can do it with regular crimpers. I did the other day. And it's not terrible, but these definitely make life a whole lot easier. So, little pull test after you do the first one. So for these particular ones, I'm using a D to seat the wire crimp, and then I'm using A to crimp the insulator. So just give it a little squeeze. It pinches down. Now, I wired this so that my pin 1 through 6 matches my 1 through 6. So I know that I need to have the opening up towards me as I put it in. Now this is gonna be a little pain in the butt because there's a lot of wire right here, but that's okay. You slide it through. I know you're not gonna hear it, but it makes a nice solid click sound. And then once you're done, you push. There we go. Okay. Now that locks in. So now this has a permanent connector on it. And it's sealed. So like normally you'd want to put shrink wrap or something up over to the base of this, but you don't have to because those yellow things are seals. So it seals on itself. And now, so when we connect the other side is gonna be hard to tell. Also has 1 through 6 on the connector. So I can essentially wire this without needing to have the box there. Excuse me. Because I can go, okay, number 1 goes in the number 1 hole, number 2 goes in the number 2 hole, so on and so forth. And then I'll have my 6 switches back. And this is a full standalone assembly. So this fuse block is entirely of its own. And then these are the power outs. So this was originally set up for, it was essentially my ignition on for the ECU, which is probably gonna be a little different this time, but we'll see. But it was ECU, it was boost controllers, ECU, boost control, lights, headlights, taillights, and fan, fuel pump. It was on fuel pump because I had the fuel pump on a button so that I could turn the Holley on without it kicking the fuel pump on. So it was for the fuel pump. And then like I said, this is the power and this just connects. So this connects to my power in on my bus bar. And then this was just connected to one of the lugs on the bus bar. So it's probably how it will go back. And then this also has a fuse. This is probably overkill, but I like to be safe when it comes to electrical. I'm not a huge fan of it, so better safe than sorry is always my bet. We'll leave this connector here, or maybe I'll switch out to a steel one that's not as bulky, but that's it. Now, the fuse block has a super seal. As always, comment, like, share, subscribe, get up and get after it.